Making Dumb Groups Smarter by David Porter, Benjamin Riggs, Blair Bell, and Leslie Davis. In the article, Making Dumb Groups Smarter, the authors Cass R. Sunstein and Reed Hasty, along with social scientist David Schade, explore groups and their significance in humanity. They attempt to understand and pinpoint why groups fail and then attempt to formulate the solutions to these issues. Why do groups fail? The main purpose of this presentation is to outline how groups work and what factors makes them stagnant or successful. In this presentation, we will be covering the article mentioned earlier in depth by speaking about things such as the advantages and disadvantages of groups, group failure, and how it occurs. And we'll be showing ways of tackling problems that arise from groups. With that said, Benjamin will lead with how we cascade to the wrong answers in groups.
Thank you, David. The first way groups go astray is cascading to the wrong answer. The human brain is wired from birth to synchronize and imitate other people. Information flows in a cascade fashion, beginning with a small trickle in one direction to a flood in that direction, which can lead to group errors. Information cascades involve people silencing themselves out of deference to the information conveyed by others. In jury studies, the vote begins to favor with increased confidence the same verdict despite everyone's preferences. Reputational cascades involve people silencing themselves to avoid the harsh criticism or censor of others. There is often a clear sense that a certain point of view is the proper one, and those who question or reject it do so at their peril. Availability cascades are when a vivid idea or example moves rapidly from one person to another, eventually producing a widespread belief within a group and possibly a city, a state, or even a nation. Another way groups go astray is group polarization, which is a phenomenon when members of a deliberating group move towards a more extreme point of view in whatever direction is indicated by the group's tendencies. This is due to informational signals, which is when group members pay attention to arguments made by other group members with the same initial predisposition. This inevitably skews deliberation in the direction of that predisposition. Also, reputation causes polarization due to people wanting to be perceived favorably by other group members. They will adjust their positions in the direction of the dominant position. Finally, as people gain confidence, they usually become more extreme in their views. The final way groups go astray is they focus on what everyone knows. Studies show that common information held by many group members has a disproportionately large impact on discussions and conclusions in groups. Little weight is given to valuable information held by one person or a few. To function well, groups must take advantage of cognitively peripheral people. And now that I've covered how groups fail, Blair and Leslie will discuss ways to make groups wiser.
Thank you, Benjamin. My name is Blair Bell, and I will discuss ways to make groups wiser. Let's start with silent leaders. What is a silent leader? A silent leader, many assume, are introverts, but silent leaders don't fall under the same personality labels. They're simply positive role models and team players who will often try to solve problems through collaboration, logical thought, and encouragement rather than through aggression or dominance. Next, let's discuss prime critical thinking. What is priming? Priming occurs whenever exposure to one thing can later alter behavior or thoughts. On the other hand, critical thinking occurs in group decision making. Most employers lack an effective way to objectively assess critical thinking skills. Instead, most managers employ a sink or swim approach, creating workarounds for those who can't figure out how to swim from making important decisions. Lastly, reward group success. Reward group success is for an increasing number of organizations implementing a compensation plan that rewards employees for successful teamwork, providing great outcomes within organizations. People are likely to get the job done correctly when incentives are involved. Companies that have such plans take various approaches to structuring team based rewards. Leslie will continue to discuss ways to make groups wiser.
Assign roles. Assigning roles or delegating work saves time when working in a group. As roles are different, often they are assigned by areas of expertise. New skill sets are learned or strengthened in these assigned roles. When roles are assigned in this manner, information sharing is reduced because everyone has a focused area. This allows work to get done quickly. Appoint a devil's advocate. This is a group or an individual who challenges the status quo. Red teaming. This is a group who seeks out errors and mistakes. Any vulnerabilities are used to challenge your point or argument made. This method is used to allow you to see things from a different perspective to strengthen your stance of your argument. The Delphi method. This is an approach used anonymously by a voting system. It consists of a few voting rounds by panels. After each round, a discussion is conducted until a final consensus is made. A recent study on substance abuse of opioids was conducted at the RAND Institute. The Delphi method was the approach as the empirical evidence was lacking and expert input was needed. 60 clinicians were rounded up and recruited for the panels of 7 patient cases. There were 3 rounds of data collection, and the final round that was done would be used to assess final consensus and disagreements made. In conclusion, errors and mistakes often occur in groups because members will silence themselves due to harsh criticism of others when speaking out. Members will also go along with what is being said, so then little effort is put forward. Though there are many more examples we can give, but the Making Group Smarter article gave us 6 goals that we can use to accomplish and implement to make a group wiser. Just like a cycle, we can silence the leader, prime critical thinking can be used, reward group success when we can, assign roles, appoint a devil's advocate, and use the Delphi method approach. And this will make a group wiser.